Lifestyle Pirates with Big J and Adriano.
All right, good morning, everybody. Jacob, good morning. How are you?
Very good, thanks, boys.
Excellent. So we are here actually on site this morning with Lifestyle Pirates at Hendriks Cognac and Wine with founder, owner,
Co-owner, founder,
co-owner, Jacob Overduin.
general ideas guy.
General ideas guy.
just kidding, there's two of us.
All the ideas.
No idea, mate.
Mate, what a fabulous setup this is.
Thanks very much, yeah.
Congratulations. Tell us a story about this place.
Look, I think it's an interesting one. We got a lot of people saying to us, what are you doing opening a bar in the middle of COVID? We're only 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
And fundamentally, my industry is advertising, and that's what I've done for years and years and years and years. So I spend a lot of time in bars. So my business partner and I, we've travelled the world doing ideas and concepts, and spent a lot of time in bars everywhere. And so what we wanted to do was take a little bit of the best bars we'd been in and what we'd found, whether it be from Hong Kong or even Melbourne.
Yeah.
And create our own little place that we were able to really stamp with our own personality. So that kind of came to this. I mean, it was about being really good wine, really good times, good friends and good people, and very casual, but introducing people to, I guess, different experiences through wine and also cognac. And so that's what we did. We started with this little one, and now we're looking at another one to open early next year in Bowral.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same name?
Same name, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's my dad's name, actually.
Ah.
So it's named after him.
Okay, so I'm not going to ask that question. Because when you first think Hendriks, obviously you think of the gin.
Everyone does.
So when it was Hendriks Cognac and Wine, I'm like,
yeah,
maybe they do gin, wine, and cognac.
So, we serve anything, mate.
Yeah.
So
nice.
We'll make it. But no, so look, I grew up, and my dad was also an ag guy, a lot better than me, and I watched him really enjoy wine and cognac, and introduce a lot of his friends to cognac and wine, and I saw how much fun they had drinking together. And enjoying it and learning. I guess it's the experience of learning different things and different wines and those kinds of things. So that was something that always stuck with me. And then with my business partner, James, he and I, like I said, we've travelled a lot, and there'd be times when we were out and he didn't drink wine until he met me. And so that's kind of, it evolved from my dad, and I've taken it to someone else as well. And then he's done the same with his friends, and then cognac came into the mix, and then we thought, well, fuck it, open a bar.
Yeah. So I've got to be honest, I thought cognac was an old person's drink.
Everyone does.
So why cognac? What does cognac do for you?
Mate, depends how many you have. Everyone does think that. I think the biggest thing about cognac is that it is the best drink people don't know they like yet. So it is about coming and understanding and learning. I mean, the reason that people think that is because normally you've nicked it from your dad's stash when you were young, and you've had it. It's like
and you might have burnt your mouth because it's
or your nose. All your nose when you sniff it. Yeah, and that's because it's cheap and it's nasty. When you have those ones, it's about understanding how to drink it and why you're doing certain things. It's actually not that strong. It's 40%. You look at a whiskey, generally 43.
Yeah,
the glass you drink it in a big balloon often makes it smell a lot more, and you get that alcohol-driven kind of flavour through it. But it is such a great mixer. Like, we've got, I think, 30 cocktails that are cognac based.
Yeah.
And you use a lower grade of cognac to mix it. But and then you go right through to the hugs and kisses, the XO. So, and that's it's awesome. Like, it is such a great drink. And when you get to understand it, you go, wow, and you start getting the notes. And we've got I think probably 60% of our clientele here are women, and almost all of them come in to try cognac initially, and then a lot of them come back to keep trying it. We've had people work their way through, different parts of the list. We've got 35 cognacs now on our list, and they all taste completely different. It's really cool. It's a great drink. And for whiskey drinkers, it's something a little bit different as well.
Yeah. Because whiskey, I think, has come through a bit of a resurgence as well. It's now more popular. And it must be cool for you, given your story and how you discovered alcohol and wine and cognac.
I discovered alcohol the same way as everyone else did,
but
stealing
like from a family piece, right? But then to then pass that on to your guests and customers and educate them on something that you like.
Definitely, and I think anything with a passion is should be the basis of any business that you do. You know, if you can find something that you're really passionate about, it doesn't really feel like work anymore, and that passion does show through and to your consumers, whether they be on the ad agency side of the world or whether they be in your bar, patrons, you know, they get that and they feed off that and they feel it as well. You know, you want to feel engaged in whatever you're doing, whether it be brand led or whether it be, you know, product led. And so by doing that, we're able to really. That's the ice machine. It's a real live bar. It's not just a set.
It's not a Zoom backdrop.
That's right. So look, where were we? Cognac, being able to share that. I think that it is anything you've got passion around. It makes it a lot more enjoyable, and you're able to people engage in that more and want to really enjoy. They feed off your enjoyment, you know, same as I have done. You know, when I've gone to learn about wines and you know, you speak to a great sommelier and they get you excited about trying something different. You go, oh, great, cool, I will. And then you end up trusting them and you really enjoy. That's that experience, you know, that's why you go back to a place. So you always remember that, I had a Chianti here and it was so good because this guy, you know, did this. And I still remember one I had down in Melbourne at a little pizza restaurant down there. And I always go back there and go, you know, and I love it, you know, I love it.
So cognac, what is it?
It's basically grapes you can't make wine out of.
Yeah.
So they're white grapes and they're called Ugni Blanc is basically what it is. And the grapes are so shit that they used to. This is no word of a lie. So cognac is a region.
Yeah.
So cognac fundamentally is a brandy. Mm-hmm. So that's a distilled grape is what you're doing.
Okay.
So it's also a region. It's just above Bordeaux in France. And there's pretty ordinary grapes here. You can't make wine out of them. So what they did is they used to call it travelling wine. So they give it to sailors and they distill it and go, at the other end you drink it and it's great. And they went, hang on, we don't want to do anything to it. It's really, really nice. And that's kind of how cognac came about. So it's what you do is you crush them, you then put it through a still. So you use a pot still for cognac. And then you get eau de vie, which is the spirit of life. Yeah. And then you put that back through, so it's double distilled. Yeah. And then you age it in casks. So then you've got, you know, the base cognac, and they're all graded by different letters, I guess, or a different system. So you got VS, which is very special. Then you got VSOP, which is very superior old pale, which is aged a minimum 4 years. And then you've got XO, which is aged a minimum 6. So. And then there's, you know, other variants on that. You've got like Louis the III and 14th and all those kinds of things. Like them $5,000 a bottle, that sort of stuff.
The bottle's crystal as well, isn't it? It's not just the stuff inside that's worth a lot of money.
No, not all of them. On the high end ones, yes. So that like the
Louis Trey.
That sort of stuff. With $5,000, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's not just the stuff inside, but you know, the stuff we put in cocktails, definitely not crystal.
No, you don't want to be doing that.
Not crystal.
So, by the sounds of it, the cognac is made very similar to the way the Italians make grappa.
Yeah, it is. Exactly right. Exactly right.
It's so completely different.
It is. Yeah, so it's the aging process that changes it. So, and it's only one, I think you only distill grappa once.
Yeah.
So I didn't say it with an Italian accent because I'm not Italian.
that's
funny
fine.
how you do that though, how you get a word and then you have an Italian accent on that one word.
Yeah, and then I have to switch back. I get pulled up on that quite a bit.
Yeah. When he starts talking about the various cars as well, he says that in Italian.
Maserati.
Yeah. So I've got to be honest, right? So you say you're 6 weeks open.
Yep.
You must have had, and obviously in COVID, you must have had people saying, Jacob, you're nuts.
Mate, we had everyone saying that. Like literally everyone, not all to our face, you know, a lot of it, most of it behind our back. Everyone's like, oh, well done, mate, good idea. Like an idiot. Yeah. But no,
your mate said it to your face.
Even some of them just wanted wholesale wine, I think. So, yeah, look, I think we knew the concept was good.
Yeah.
We didn't create COVID. We didn't know it was coming. We didn't just decide to open a bar in COVID. We had taken a lease on this place in August last year. It took us 9 months to get to a point. It just so happened that our license came at in August. Sorry, in April. And so we went, well, and it was an office, like it was literally an office. So my business partner, James, he and I went, well, fuck, what else are we going to do? No one really wants ads at the moment. So I learned how to build through Google and YouTube, and we built all this ourselves. So seriously, yeah. So we did the whole thing ourselves. So we didn't put the glass in. That's a bit dangerous. But, and plumbing and electrical, everyone, it's all the things that require like professionals, they did that. But government. So we've got our occupational certificate, so we're all good. So we came in and we went, okay, well, COVID's going on and there's not a lot of other things, so you've got to pivot. You have to change what you're doing. And it actually provided us an opportunity because it gave us the time to do it properly in the way we want. When I say do it properly, we did it ourselves. But you know, we did it the way we wanted to, and we went, okay, cool. And you're also a lot more invested in it then as well. And it gave us the time that setting up any business does need. And that was to make sure the wine list was right, to make sure that we had the right, you know, a wine list in itself. We've got 125, 126 wines now. And, you know, it's an organic beast, and it's really representative of the people that run the bar and own the bar, because you're trying to tell a story and take consumers on a journey through your wine list. It's not a matter of just having all the best cab savs, because no one's going to buy all of them. You know, you need to have the best in each price range, and you need to be able to, you know, go, okay, well, if someone doesn't want something that's really bold, where's something a little lighter and fruitier and those kinds of things. So it gave us a real opportunity to spend the right amount of time on creating the business. And, I won't say we didn't have doubts at any time, because sometimes you're sitting here and trying to build a wall or a whole bar and going, fuck. That was upside down.
Still got a bracket left over.
Mate, I tell you what, we didn't even have tools. Dead set. We went to Bunnings, and I was like, we can do it. And James was like, are you sure? And I was like, mate, I watched YouTube heaps last night. And he was like, he said, it doesn't really fill me with very much confidence.
That's proof.
So
YouTube works, eh?
Yeah, like I said to you earlier, I reckon I could do anything based off YouTube. I reckon I could do an operation. Yeah. So at the very least, I could stitch someone up.
Yeah.
So
definitely shoelaces.
That's it, mate. Yeah. That's it.
So tell me, two marketing guys. Yeah. So it's you and your business partner from marketing from the shed.
Yep.
Okay. So what were the challenges that you found being in marketing and moving into hospitality?
Yeah, a lot. I think. And I liken it to this, that we are in a unique position because we're not two hospitality guys starting a bar, we're two ad guys starting a bar. It gives you a different perspective on how it comes together. Now, we've got a lot of holes in our learning, you know, and we've learned a lot over the last 3 months, and there's still a heap of gaps. But our end game is always about looking at how we're creating this brand and the experience that we want our consumers and customers to really engage in. And so we're probably a little less focused on the way to get things done rather than what we wanted to get done, if that makes sense. So whereas the experience with hospitality, people, you have a manager in there and they go, right, we need to be doing these margins on this drink and blah, 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 blah. We wanted to go, okay, this is the experience. Let's work back from that and make sure what we do fits into that. So it was very, very different. Massive learning curve. Like, I mean, it's something... I tried waiting tables once when I think I was 19, and I was so shit. Like, I was so bad. I still can't carry a tray. Like, all my staff are like, mate, you can't just take out 2 glasses of wine to the table. And I'm like,
not? Watch me.
I am, and I can, and I'm doing it, but it's not the right way. And I think you've also got to understand that I've also got a lot of experience in both life and business. Understand that these younger guys that are working for me, they know a lot more than I do. And so listening to them and taking advice off them, it has been critical to us getting up to speed and being a very efficient and effective business very, very early on. You know, we have, from where the first night, oh man, our opening night, it was a fucking disaster. Like, it was... I was like, what have I done? I thought I was going to die. Yeah. Honestly, we had fire alarms going off. The building got evacuated twice. twice in the same night, right? And we're like,
Wow.
well, yeah, we hadn't considered smoke.
Good impact.
Yeah, it was people knew about us, that's for sure. We had people that wouldn't leave tables, and we with COVID, you can't have people standing around, so we had to have people waiting down the end of the street, and we had, like the food wasn't coming out on time, stuff was coming out wrong. We were like, oh my God. And literally the fire alarm went off. I went, I'll call the fire department, and went outside and went, oh my God. I thought I was going to cry.
Yeah.
So to be here 6 weeks later, confidently looking at it going, okay, it opens, it closes, it runs. We do everything the right way. We order stuff the right way. We've got a better wine list. We've got great reviews. We're doing something right, and obviously we're doing more right than wrong. And so now we look at what the next thing is and opening up another one. So, taking this model, and this was always going to be kind of a proof of concept. So that's why it's kind of smaller, but we're extending it upstairs, and we're also opening another one now.
Because I noticed on your LinkedIn it says that this is a passion project and your real job is the shed.
Yeah.
When are those two things going to swap?
Well, I'm passionate about ads. I love that.
But is this the plan to have this full time?
I think that.
Or is it another?
No, I don't know. That's a really good question. It's probably something that I haven't considered a lot. I think advertising is a younger guy's game.
Yep.
Right. And I've got an expiry date in that.
Yeah.
Whereas good ideas I'll always survive, but running an ad agency, you do need to be. It is probably. I probably think that I got until about 55 to do that. So no, I'm over halfway.
Just
just over halfway. So sort of 10 years in doing that, you have to future-proof yourself in your life as well. So that's what we're trying to do, and go, okay, well, if we can do quite a number of different things and have fingers in different pies that we are passionate about, well then we are our lifestyle pirate doesn't have to change. You know what I mean? We're able to do that. Maybe it even gets better. So, and I would love, we've got great staff at the shed at the moment who are, I think, certainly we've got one person there who is more than capable of taking over and running it.
Yeah.
Which I would love, and then I can sit back, give advice, and
run your bar,
do ideas.
Yeah.
And sit in the bar and drink cognac and wine.
So what got you into the agency side of things? What was the kind of the brainchild behind the shed? Yeah,
I came back from the shed. Well, I was prior to the shed. I worked for Kerry Packer for a number of years. I was general manager of advertising there, and I started an internal ad agency for him for the cinema advertising. And I had offices all around the country. I was doing well, enjoying it, and then I thought, well, I just don't want to be working for someone all the time. So I asked for redundancy and used my redundancy to buy the business that I'd set up for them off them, and had an exclusive contract with them for the next 3 years. So that's what I did. That's then I got meningitis and I died, and I thought, it's a bit rough. Probably got to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I sold that, and then moved to just running other people's agencies. So I became a commercial director and CEO of a number of other agencies, and then met James, my business partner, along the way. And he and I went, you know what, fuck it, let's go and have a crack again. And we started the shed quite literally with one computer at my kitchen table and a bunch of kebabs and beers. And that was it. We had no clients. We left, and we left great jobs. Like I said, I was CEO of an agency, and we left great jobs. Sat there and went, well, let's do this the way we want to do it. And one of our key brand pillars was to not make decisions based on money. To do the right work and work that we enjoyed doing. And again, you go back to that passion thing. When you're doing stuff you're enjoying, and you're not doing it just for a paycheck. You do good work, and it brings more work, and all of a sudden, it's exponential. Your passionate work is making you do good work, and that good work is bringing more work that you're passionate about, and people trust you, and then so on and so forth. So then we grew pretty quickly, and that was I think 9 years ago we started the shed. So yeah. And
we were talking earlier before we came on. You've got offices all over Australia.
Yep,
You've got clients all over Australia.
We do.
How's that been managing? Client expectations, your client relationships? I get the sense it's a very, relationship-heavy style business. How's that been this year for you?
This year it's been great. COVID's been really easy. There's no work. So there's not much to manage, mate. No, so
That's a positive way of looking at it, I suppose.
no. Look, we had our most successful year in history up until COVID hit. In fact, I was over in Bali buying a bar over there when COVID came about, and that was we'd put in an offer to buy this bar in Canggu. And that would have been interesting, but anyway, there's a bullet dodged.
Yeah.
We put in an offer, and the guy said yes, eventually, but he delayed by a day while we were over there. And we said, look, we're over here now. We've got our solicitors ready to go. We can sign everything off. We're all good. Anyway, delayed. I said, we're on a plane at midnight. We can't hang about anymore. We'll finish it all. We'll finalise it all when we get back to Australia. I got off the plane. I was like, oh, geez, I don't feel very well, and then I felt really unwell. I thought, oh shit, I might just go straight to the doctor and get checked. So they did a COVID test on me, and it was right at the very, very beginning. It was the beginning of March, and so they said, oh, your results will be back in 2 days. So I went, okay, I'll wait. They said, but you've got to isolate at home, self-isolate. So I went, okay, cool. So I hadn't seen my son or my wife in a couple of days because I'd been over in Bali, and I had to get in this room. My bedroom, and I was FaceTiming my son from out the front, and I was like, this is pretty shit. Anyway, I started to feel a bit more unwell. Doctor said, look, so many people, because the amount of testing went up so quickly, so many people are getting tested at the moment, your test is going to take 5 days. And I was like, okay, so I got to stay in this room for another 3 days. He said, no, actually it's longer because we don't get results over the weekend. So you've got to wait until Monday. And I'm like, that's going to be 8 days all up. And they're like, yeah. I said, I still don't feel very well. They said, can you come back in? So I went back in. Anyway, as it turned out, I had pneumonia. So I was so sick, which again delayed anything that I could do with signing off on this bar over in Bali. Well, by that stage, the world had basically turned to shit in a week.
Yeah.
And so I spoke to James and the other guy that's involved in the Bali bar and said, what do you guys reckon about this? And they said, we might put it on hold, eh?
Yeah.
So luckily we did. And so that kind of, again, refocused us more to do this one. So, that's what a year, interesting year.
Yeah, very much, very much. And how are things now, business-wise, clients kind of coming back in the mix?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, it was always going to, I look at it like it's a pause. If you're able to press pause on things and, we were lucky we were in a position where you can just kind of go, okay, cool. Yeah, you've got costs and things like that, but you've got to prepare for things to not always be as bright and sunny as you hope they're going to be. Yeah. So we pressed pause and we kind of went, okay, we'll pick it up when things start going again. And we've had great clients that have been really supportive. And, through that period, we still were pitching and we were still winning pitches. It's just that the activity's been delayed. So now those pitches are coming to fruition and they're all kind of starting up again and people are going, okay, cool, we're coming into summer, we're coming into Christmas, we're coming into all these big periods, the borders are opening up, everything's kind of, getting back to a more of a sense of normality now than where we were 6 months ago, that's for sure, where it was all doom and gloom and no one knew what was going to happen. I think everyone's kind of, brands as well, have kind of learned to live with it, and a lot of brands have been really good at pivoting and going, hang on, how can I change what I've always done and do something different to engage in a different way with consumers? And that's what I think everyone that's come out of this well. You look at gin companies, who've gone, like Shane Warne, for example, he started his gin company and then was like, shit, we can make hand sanitizer. So he did that for the healthcare workers over in WA, which is awesome. We've actually got stocked here Finder's Gin, which is brilliant. And they're local and we like to keep things local. They're based down in St Leonard's. And that guy had started up his distillery down in St Leonard's, I think in January. And then COVID came and he had to make hand sanitizer as well, because things were, he couldn't get things bottled, couldn't do things the same way and whatever the different reasons are. But, he's able to pivot and change the model. Now he's back to making his gin and it's great gin and we're selling it and bars are opening and selling his new gin. Yeah. Yeah.
I get the sense that you've kind of always wanted to do this. Have you always wanted to be in hospitality? Like, again, what was the thing about the barley side of things?
Oh, look, I think there's opportunity, and if you can have tax deductible holidays, brilliant.
Easy maths.
It's Look, I always wanting to be. The reality is, there's good ideas and concepts like this will work for various reasons. And I think as long as you can maintain that passion, I do think that it is an industry that allows you longevity if you do it right. And you're also very asset rich in it because you're able to sell a concept to someone else if they want it. So, if a group comes along and wants to buy your bar, it's saleable. In an ad agency, it's hard to sell the actual agency because it's your IP, it's your brain basically, and it's your concepts apart from the processes and procedures and those kinds of things. But, every ad agency runs off its latest best idea, which always comes down to the people. Now, bars do that as well, but you can very easily take the infrastructure and the current clientele over and you can sell that. So is it something that I've always wanted to do? Probably not. I've always loved wine. There's no question about that. Like I love it and I'm really passionate about it. I didn't realise I knew as much about it as I do now that I've created a wine list, which is pretty cool. I think, learning new things when you get a bit older and you go, I was a bit chuffed.
Yeah.
Now it's definitely something that I can see myself doing considerably more.
Yeah. So speaking about your wine list is it's put together very differently.
It is.
So it's not put together by cab savs, this or wine varietal. It's put together by taste flavour profiles.
That's right. Yeah.
So tell us, what was the decision to do that? And is that a marketing thing, or is just
I think
that's
so.
the way you wish wine lists were done?
It's the way I definitely. I think we've got a lot of old world wine.
Yeah.
So French wine is very difficult because it's done by region, not by grape, and then you got what part of that micro region that winery is from, and then you got the name of the house, and it's difficult. So the thing that people enjoy about wine is what it tastes like. So we decided to put our wine list together in taste profile. So if you walk into, it's so easy, and also people in general don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
So you don't want to walk into a place and go, oh, I normally order a Sauvignon Blanc. So I'm going to try something different, but I don't want to go and ask what that is, so I'll just get a Sauvignon Blanc. I know Marlborough, I know Sauvignon Blanc, I know I like it easy. So what we wanted to do is go someone that finds themselves looking at a Sauvignon Blanc, they can see in that same section that they've got a Sancerre or they've got, various other wines, and they can go, well, hang on, maybe I'll try something French. And it makes it easier for us to explain as well. So that step into the unknown, so to speak, is a lot less daunting, especially, this is people's hard-earned money that they're paying for wine. We're selling it to them and we want them to enjoy it. You don't want to get a $50, $60, $70 bottle of wine that you just don't like, and you don't want to turn around to the person who sold it to you and go, I don't like that because I chose the wrong one. So what we've done is we've put them together like that, and so it's more of a textural thing. And so you can go, okay, do I want juicy and sweet? Do I want it like zesty and dry, or whatever it might be? But it makes more sense. And I think doing that, look, we're selling more French wine than I could ever have imagined, and Italian. So it's crazy. It's really, really good, and people are buying them based on that taste profile. So why did we do it? Because I think it was. I don't know. This goes back to that ad guys owning bars, right? I don't know why it hasn't been done like that, because I would have bought a lot more in a lot more restaurants and a lot more bars if I'd known that a Chianti tasted was in the same sort of range as a Cab Sav, for example, or something like that. So that's why we did it.
I think it's a fantastic idea, and I think it's bang on as well.
Thanks,
because sometimes. I suppose I'm a little bit educated on wine, not too much, but I've drank wine for quite my whole life.
I've seen
really.
your Instagram. You choose some good ones, right?
Yeah. So sometimes, and what you said, it is daunting when you go into a restaurant and you're looking at all of these wines. It's like, man, I've got no idea.
Exactly.
But for me, like just flicking through some of your wine list, I've looked at some of those wines and I'm like, you know what? I know that wine. I know what it tastes like.
Exactly.
I've never considered having that.
Yep.
And I'm going to try that now.
That's right, and that's what we want people to do, and that's the experience, rather than just going in and having a drink. We're more of a, let's let's let the wine do the talking, you know, and enjoy that and try new things and go, wow, that blew my mind. I really enjoyed that. And that's my Chianti experience that I had down in Melbourne that one time, you know, and trying to recreate that every time someone comes in and getting people to just, you know, try new things. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to like everything. I guarantee there's no one. I don't even like all the wines that we've got, but they are very good for what they represent.
Yeah.
So for me, that's why I thought, well, that's a real no-brainer.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for exploration of wine because a lot of people don't do it.
No, they
A lot
don't.
of people don't explore with wine. I was having this conversation actually with one of my good friends last night about a lot of French wines that I don't know enough of.
Yep.
So Italian wines I always sort of try and do as much education as I can. I call it education, drinking, right?
R&D.
Yeah, R&D.
That's it, mate.
But with French wine, I'm very intimidated to sort of jump into it. And, you know, you look at Châteauneuf du Pape and all of these different sorts of wines, but you don't know really which one to commit to. And to spend, you know, $60 to $100 on a bottle of
Completely,
wine
mate.
that you've never on a region that you've never tried.
Completely.
It can be quite.
Expensive.
Yeah, definitely. It's an expensive.
And disappointing is the other thing. And you don't want your money. So people are on the side of caution and go, well, I'm just going to stick to what I know and I'm going to have that, you know.
Yeah, it stops you from exploring.
And so what we've also done is we've put together a bunch of we've got a lot of half bottles, French half bottles and Italian half bottles. And we're putting together we're trying to have Sydney's largest half bottle list. And it's the reason behind that is that you can actually, a table of four can go on a real journey, right? So you can sit down, you can have two couples and you can go, okay, my wife always drinks Sauvignon Blanc, she always drinks Chardonnay, I always drink Cab Sav, he always drinks Shiraz, right? Easy. So you go, okay, cool, start with a half bottle of a nice French Sancerre, right? And go, okay, cool, then move to a Chablis, and you're all getting like a glass of each one. You've only had two bottles by the end of it, but you've had four different wines. And you've really been able to have that experience and gone on that journey that is reasonably inexpensive. I mean, they're not expensive bottles of wine. They're just good wines. And so we're able to really let people sit back and enjoy it and let their company and the time, that experience that they're having, do the talking. And that's what we want, you know, people to really go and our place to become synonymous with having a good time with good wine and good friends.
Perfect. How did you curate the wine list?
Trial and error.
Yeah.
Look, we did. That is... And we did it ourselves. It was a lot of trial and error. And I think...
Was it on the back of a lot of your travels worldwide as well? Like, do the wines on the list bring back something for you personally?
Certain types do, not actual wines, because I think we didn't want to replicate what other people have got. We wanted to really make it our own. So what we did is we tried a lot of each one. I mean, look, there were some afternoons where we sat here and we were shit-faced and we said yes to everything. Now, they're not all on the list. I think we were the wine rep's wet dream, mate. But when they were all like, oh, these ad guys, they're a piece of piss, because we didn't spit every time we were doing it. We're like, yep, that's on the list. So, you know, we had to kind of curb that a little bit, or try fewer at a time. So we've got 126 on there at the moment, and we probably went through about 350 wines to get to there, maybe a few more. And like I said earlier, you can't just have all of the best of everything. You know, we've got 4 rosés, but one needs to be at $60, one needs to be at $40. You know, I could probably have 3 of them all sitting at $60, but not everyone wants to pay $60. So you want to have the right wine in that price range, in each price range, for that particular varietal. So we go through ours, and ours are, you know, we've got wines here that are $11 a glass. We've got Italian wines that are $11 a glass here. It's unbelievable that they can get shipped over, get here, get open. We pay for people, and it's poured in a glass, and you can only pay $11 for it. It's wicked, right? And so we're good value is what we're trying to do as well, but also let people ease themselves into. We've got, I think, 25 by the glass that we sell here, which allows people to really try something different that they wouldn't normally do without having to commit to a whole bottle or even a half bottle. So that's as for curating it, it genuinely was a lot of trial and error, and it was also really trying to, like when you say, Adriano, about about educating, it is about that, because you do need to take off your blindfolds where you go, well, I don't like Chardonnay. But you need to have a solid Chardonnay list, and you need to understand that other people really do enjoy it. So you need to get your head around what are the tastes and the things that people are looking for, and why is that one going to sell and why won't that one sell? You know, so you're looking at what is going to represent you well and what pairs with your food and what pairs with what you're trying to create. Do you want a massive $200 oaky aged Chardonnay? Maybe.
Absolutely, yes, please.
Sorry, mate, you have to go somewhere else. No, we do have a couple of them. But, you know, it has to go well with the whole thing that you're trying to put together. And I think ours, we've got wines from $35 right through to, I think, about $1,500 a bottle. So there's something to suit everyone, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No, carry on, Squire.
Oh, thank you. We spoke before we jumped on about your Jaffles.
Yeah, mate.
Tell us about your Jaffles.
I was going there anyway, so that's sweet.
Look, this is well, there's a big story behind it. So we essentially our food is giant Jaffles, gourmet giant Jaffles, and when we say giant, they're massive. And this is a cool story actually. So we thought, what we're going to do, we want great wines, but we want basically what we wanted to do was take the wank out of wines, right, and make it more accessible to everyone and for everyone to enjoy it. So to really pull back the bullshit that people think that goes with wines, that's what we wanted to do. Then we wanted to juxtapose that with something as simple as a gourmet cheese sandwich, as a cheese sandwich, but make it gourmet. And we thought, well, is anyone really going to pay for just a cheese sandwich? So we thought, well, what can we do? So we created the world's largest Jaffle. Now, there's a reason that hasn't been done before. And that's because Jaffle machines only come in one size, and that's the size of a slice of bread. Stands to reason when you think about it, we didn't think about it. So we...
you went to YouTube.
That's right.
How to build a big Jaffle maker.
And ta-da, here we are. No, close.
Yeah.
But the first thing you got to do is create this bread. So we went, well, we want the biggest thing. And what we wanted to do was create a different lunch option as well. So that, you know, you go around Crow's Nest and there's a lot of burger places. Not everyone wants a burger every day. And the difference between having a burger and then you have to go to a restaurant, there's nothing in between. Now we know when we've been taking our staff out for lunch on Fridays that it's hard to please everyone. So Jaffles do that. Everyone in Australia's got a great memory of growing up with Jaffles, right? And burning your mouth and all that kind of stuff.
100%.
Craft singles and
ham, cheese, job done.
That's it. Exactly right. Yeah. So they immediately...
It's toasty.
I know what it is.
Okay. Sorry, just wanted to be sure, mate. So we wanted to create, you know, kind of, I guess, touch on people's emotional side as well and go, hang on, I love Jaffles. I haven't had one in ages. So that's what we wanted to do and create a place where people could come for lunch and it was something to everyone. So to do that, you can't just flog a craft single, a piece of Primo, and a piece of Primo, in a Wonder White. So we went, well, we've got to do something different. So we went, okay, cool. So we went to these bakers and said, look, if we had a massive loaf of bread, can you bake something that's 20 centimetres by 20 centimetres? And they go, no. Why would anyone want that? And we're like, why wouldn't they? And they're like, well, that's idiotic. There's not even, do you even know how bread's made? And we're like, yes.
No.
Hang on, let me Google it.
I watched a YouTube video last night. Right. I know exactly how it's made.
I'm a baker. So they said that we went to probably about 10 or 12 and they all said, there's no way, mate. Then one of them said, do you even know how this is done? We go, not really. He said, well, they go in bread pans. And I go, yeah, like tins. They're like, no, they're called pans. I go, oh, right. They go, why are they not bread tins? They look like a tin. He's like,
they look like a tin.
They're called bread pans, and don't make that mistake to bakers ever again.
It sounds very sensitive topic.
Pans have a lid or something, or vice versa. Tins don't, something like that. I couldn't remember what it was. And he said, so bread to get baked needs to go in a pan. Mm-hmm. Yep, cool. He goes, do you think that size pan exists? And we're like, no. And he said, right. I said, so, but if we made that pan, could you then build it? Could you then bake it? And he goes, oh, technically. I go, great, cool. Yeah. So if we bring you a bread pan that is dead set. It looked like a baby's coffin when we got it made. It was that big. It was ridiculous. I'm like, that's for bread? And James is like, yeah. And I was like, this is fucked. We're so over our heads.
We are mental.
We've got a whole concept based around this. And no, we haven't even thought about trying it. And so we found this guy in South Australia who could make bread pans custom built. So we went, okay. And they're like,
That's a niche.
Yeah. He waited all his life for us idiots to come along. He's like, told you, sweetheart. He's like, we're in the money now. Anyway, so we this guy goes, he goes, all right, yeah, we can do that. Why would you want that? I said, well, we just want that. He's like, it's massive. And so it costs us heaps to make this one prototype. And a guy came up here and I was like, are you shitting me? I go, would that even fit in an oven? James is like, I don't know, dude. Like, this is fucking crazy. Anyway, so we take it to the baker and he's like, whoa, that's insane. It's like, you guys actually did it? He didn't think we'd come back with one. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so he tries to bake this thing and it came out raw in the middle. It was disgusting. It was so bad. And I'm like, okay, cool, mate. Now what do we do?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, we can't do burgers. And I'm like, that's right. So anyway, I said, why don't we try and reduce it a bit? It looks too massive anyway. Like, if you tried to eat that, you just could not. You would get halfway through and go,
You'd be asleep in the afternoon.
Oh, mate, definitely. So we said, let's reduce the size. So we went back to South Australia on the phone. He's like,
we're back.
He's like, told you, baby. Anyway, they're back again.
Second order for the year.
So can we try that? Look, it was really good, but can we try it, do a 17 by 17 centimetre? Now, to put that into perspective, that is 4 times the size. Our loaf is 4 times the size of a normal loaf of bread.
Okay.
Right? So it's massive.
So 4 slices just...
No, it's not like that. It's more depth and height
Yeah.
and length.
Okay.
So it's 4 times a normal loaf of bread. So the guy goes, yeah, no worries. So we take it back to the baker and he goes, okay. And he baked it and it worked. And we're like, no shit. I'm like, yes, we got bread. We thought this would be the easy bit, right? And he goes, so what are you going to cook it on? And we're like, a Jaffle machine. Oh.
For our custom-made bread slice.
Turns out all Jaffle machines are one size, not that size. So James goes, hang on. And James is really good at like, we're a great partnership and I wouldn't want to do business any other way because we complement each other. We're both as stupid as each other at certain times, but we do very well together. And anyway, he said, look, I've got an idea. So he calls up this guy that does, you know when you go to a park and there's a barbecue and you put coins in it?
Yeah.
So he calls up the guy that does that for the Queensland government, right? And he goes, mate, I've looked at what you do up there and they're basically cast iron things. He goes, do you reckon you could make a massive Jaffle Line? The guy goes, what the fuck?
He must have sounded like the biggest trooper.
And James is like, no, so it's 17 by 17. But what we've got to do is we've got to retrofit it to an existing Jaffle machine. And the guy's like, well, technically, it's basically a big barbecue with a hot plate, 2 big barbecues on top. And James was like, that's exactly what I thought. He said, so it's doable. Yeah. And the guy goes, technically. Technically it is. So he goes, all right. So then we go, oh, fuck, mate. Anyway, so we get these technical drawings done. I'm like, they look really professional. I didn't YouTube them. That was a real person did them, like someone that does that for a living. And so send it up to this guy and he goes, yeah, wicked. So he goes, okay, I found a machine that we can actually pull apart and we can add these two. So we're like, okay, we're on the money. So he goes, okay, now we're going to ship it all overseas. And I'm like, what? Where's it going? He goes, well, it's got to go. It's got to be made overseas. So we ship all the stuff over, the drawings and the base of it all. Anyway, they were gonna, I don't know, there's a bunch of different ways to do things. I think there's something like sand casting or something. Anyway, it turns out that mould alone was like 20 grand. Yeah. And we're like...
die casting and that, it's very expensive.
Good one. So, we know that now. Anyway, so the guy goes, mate, it's really expensive. We're like, and I thought, what, $500? Like, no, it's about 20 grand just for the mould. And we're like, whoa, that's a lot. But that's a lot of...
How many Jaffles is that?
It's like 1 billion sandwiches, right? Anyway, we're like, oh, God, well, we might be able to do it. It doesn't mean it's going to make money. Anyway, So then he goes, I found another way of doing it. And what they've done is they CNC'd it for us. So then they tried it. They said, now we just got to make sure that it all comes up to temperature and it's all cool.
Yeah.
And then it worked. And we're like, that's brilliant. And then they Teflon coated it and it looked like it came out of a shop. It's awesome. Yeah. So then they sent one over and we're like, yep, brilliant. So now we've got a bunch of them. And our whole kitchen is just Jaffle Lines. And it's pretty cool. So that's how we did it, why we did it. Because there's a reason no one had ever done it before. Because you'd have to be fucking mental to actually go through that process and do it. Oh, it's crazy, mate. But yeah, that's how we got here. It's like people go, oh, Jaffles, do you think maybe you could do something else? Like, I don't know, like just a sandwich or something? We're like, no. Do you know what effort went into to cooking you?
What is
seemingly so easy? Well, some people, it's a bit big.
I can't believe you got a CNC machine Jaffle maker. That is fantastic.
It's wicked, mate. Yeah, 5 of them. Well, five.
I would have loved the engineer that was putting that, like, they actually programmed the CNC machine to do that. Sorry, what am I making? 17 by 17 Jaffle maker.
Mate, and it's like, so normal Jaffle machines, they do 2 sandwiches. Ours is so big, it just does one massive one in the middle. It's like a press.
Man, wait until the gaming community finds out you've got a 17 by 17 Jaffle maker. You're going to get mental. You're going to have
Jaffle maker, got it.
How about the conversations, though? The guy in Adelaide and the guy in Queensland, they get home. You had a good day? You had a good day, darling? Yeah, I had a really weird conversation.
Yeah.
I've got a guy that wants to make a 20 by 20 Jaffle machine.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to speak. No, he called me again today. So what are some of the toppings? Because you sound like you've had so much fun bloody doing that. What are we putting in them?
Well, they're fillings.
Yeah.
Valid.
It's not a pizza,
right.
mate.
My bad.
Jesus.
I did have to write down what Jaffle was.
That's 2 Fs, mate. Look, one of them, we've got cognac rehydrated mushrooms in a 4-cheese blend with a Parmesan crust. So what we have done is we've upped the ante on them. We've got poached chicken, Comté, which is a really nice French creamy cheese, speck, and porcini mushrooms. We have a Juicy Lucy, which is basically like a cheese-filled cheeseburger within the Jaffle, and tastes like a quarter pounder, which, I mean, in some places you just go and order a quarter pounder then. But nevertheless, it's very nice. We do. We have a banoffee pie for a dessert one as well. So that's like we've got.
So you got dessert Jaffles.
Dessert Jaffles, mate.
For banoffee pie.
Yeah, we've got a hazelnut crunch with
oh, sorry,
that's the wrong show.
The mic picked that up.
I think everyone picked that up, mate. So look, we've got a bunch there, and we're doing seasonal stuff. So we're coming into spring. We're going to be doing a smoked salmon, we're in spring. So we're going to be doing a spring special. So smoked salmon, dill, cream cheese, etc., lemon zest, and that kind of stuff with it. They all come with a brandy drizzle. So what we do is and the way we came up with that's crazy, right? And when I say that, it's literally brandy. So they all get served with a brandy drizzle. Except the dessert ones, they come with ice cream. There you go. Okay. So the way we came up with it, I was pretty pissed. And we're trying all these Jaffles. And I had a cognac in one hand. And I'm like, something's missing. And I went, and just dipped it in and I'm like, that's it, try that. And everyone went, bullshit. And then they tried and went, that's amazing. So, mate, I told you, like, that's why.
You're like a mad scientist.
And without even Googling it or YouTubing it. No, but that, like I said, you know, you have a lot of great ideas in bars being in ads, and it just happened to be our bar, and it was a great idea. But yeah, we went, and what it does, the cognac is amazing for a couple of things. It's not just a gimmick, but it does allow people to have a taste when they get a Jaffle and go, oh, that's quite nice. But the sweet and the caramel taste really cut through the buttery and the richness of the cheese as well. So it's just, they go so well together. People go, how did you come up with that? And I don't always tell that story.
No.
I'm like, I don't know. Just came.
It's all about the fusion, you know. I did my homework.
I was gee-eyed.
I love the fact that you guys have just relentlessly had this vision of this bar and the Jaffles, and you've not let anything stop you. You know, building it yourself, building your own bloody bread tin, you know, working it out. I think it's fantastic because so many people, they get told not to do stuff, right? And you kind of just threw that to the curb because you wanted to do it. And then so many people get told no, and then they just stop. And I can imagine there's always this kind of little bit of niggling that will go along with them. And you guys are just literally, I mean...
Yeah, that's called regret.
But like to call up the Queensland bloody government and go, hey, those barbecues, like, not everyone would do that.
No. But I think that's the thing when being creative, the whole purpose of our ad agency is to do things that haven't been done before.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise it's plagiarism. It's no longer creative. If you're not doing something that's new and a version of new at least, you are just copying someone else's idea. And so it does allow you to kind of be a little bit blinkered in not worrying about the noise that goes on around it and going, well, we're kind of focused on the end goal here. There is a way. There's generally a way to get things done. Sometimes they are ridiculously expensive and cost prohibitive, but this doesn't mean there's not a way. And I think a lot of it comes down to, you know, just being able to manage that. And that's why you need a partnership. That's why, you know, I couldn't do it all by myself. And I'm sure James probably thinks he could. So just joking. No, look, I think, you know, the two of us work so well together, and it's important that we're able to do that.
And you mentioned earlier on that Hendriks, you know, the second bar will be in Barrel.
Yep.
Why Barrel?
Because I live there and I'm sick of driving here. No. No.
Valid.
No. Look, because it is a similar kind of place. It has a very villagey feel to Crow's Nest. It's a similar demographic. People are looking for something like this as well, and good ideas last. You know, we've got, you know, I think the right idea, the right concept that will work in certain places. So I'd love to see a few of them go.
What's the best cognac that you've tried? And is it here?
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
It is. And it is a surprising one, actually. It's called Frappin VIP XO.
Frappin?
Yeah, or Frappin, because it's French. But I'm not going to do that accent on certain words, like prosciutto.
Prosciutto?
Yes, there you go.
Frappin cognac.
Frappin cognac. That's it, mate. I think that's how they say it on their ads.
Frappin cognac, mate. She's good.
That's it, mate.
So what makes what cognac so special for you?
It's just beautiful. Like it appeals to my taste. That for me is just outstanding. Cognac also represents a lot of luxury in life, you know. So that's why brands like Hennessy and Courvoisier, you know, they're very, very popular.
Yep.
And they're excellent. We've got Hennessy XO, we've got Courvoisier XO on here, and they are sensational. But I really like the boutique houses, you know. It's like something a little bit more bespoke, and it's like a little bit more time and care, and you know, everything loses something when you start mass producing it.
Yeah,
it's inevitable. It doesn't make it bad. It just changes a little bit. But this Frappin is a very, very small cognac house that makes just sensational stuff. Another really good one is Hein. I like that as well. So there's just some cool. Best thing is just to come in and try them all, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds like
that.
it. Should have done an afternoon show.
So
I reckon. So
make cognac's an anytime drink.
when you curated the cognac sort of list, did you have the same sort of thing? You had reps coming in here, or you sort of had an idea of what you wanted? Because that would have been a very different one.
Mate, it was, yeah.
Smashing all of those.
So we've been very fortunate that Hennessy looked at what we were doing and like, that's a really cool idea. So they came in and they spoke to us, and we said, look, we'll support you guys and we'll support each other. So they've given us some glasses, they've given us some cocktail ideas and that kind of stuff. But they love the idea of having a cognac bar, because I don't think anyone's really done it before. And so in James's and my head was always, well, how many do you have to say you're at that sort of bar? You can't just have 3 cognacs and say I'm a cognac bar, right? So I thought, well, it's got to be over 20. So I went 30.
Yeah.
So that seems like a lot.
Yeah.
And so we went and tried them. We just went to different bars in different places, and a lot of them, you know, one place would have one, or we bought a lot as well. We didn't just have reps coming out, because a lot of them you can't just, they're not sampling them for you. So we just went out and we tried them in different places and went, yep. And some of them we said no to. We've also got a Armagnac on here as well, and a couple of brandies. So.
Because going around Sydney, right, I do like cognac, but I must admit my journey in the whole cognac sort of region is very very young, so I do look forward to coming here and trying some more. But I've noticed in Sydney, going around from bar to bar, you said you've gone to bar to try different cognacs.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
No, it's not.
Because
most
they
places,
usually only have like one or two.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's always the same one.
Well, yeah, it's often. So it's also through our travels we've done that. So we've gone, okay, we've really liked that one. Often when you stay in hotels, which is what, I think last year I spent about 130 nights of the year away from home traveling, doing my ad gig. So it's a lot of nights away. You find, your hotel will have 2 or 3. So you have a couple of them. You go, yep, that one's on, that one I like. So that's over time. That's real. Like you go, okay, I like that and that one represents this. But Frappen for me, I hadn't heard of it, and it was actually one of our wine guys, really good wine guy, knows everything, young bloke, called Mark, and he came and he said, I've got this cognac as well. And I was like, okay, what is it? I said, never heard of it. And then I tasted it and it blew my mind. Even on the VSOP, I was like, that is just an amazing, amazing drink. You chuck a piece of ice in that, the whole thing comes alive. It's like you get rose petal flavors in it. It's unbelievable, and it's beautiful. And so I was like, okay, cool. And then we kind of, I think he said to us that we sell more Frappen than anyone else now in Australia. So
that's Frappen awesome.
Frappen oath, mate.
So you mentioned that you put ice in cognac. Is that a taboo faux pas?
No, look, I think it used to be, and we go back to what you said earlier, John, when you go, okay, people. It seems like a really old man's drink. That's what people are heating up an old balloon glass and that kind of stuff. It's basically to do the same thing, and that's to open it up. It's been stuck in a box for ages, right? So you want to open it up. Same as you swirl around a wine, and you try to get some air in there. You decant it, you do that. Similar sort of thing. Now, what ice does is it's just wicked. I didn't even know very much about this, but yes, I think years ago it would have been frowned upon. Now, even some massive like Martell and Hennessy, they do recommend doing it like this with certain ones. So you drop one ice cube in, and it literally just comes to life. It's
you can see it crawl up the glass sometimes.
It does, and what it does is it's kind of the difference between walking through a forest in the rain and you can smell everything, or in the dry when you can't smell anything. Right, and that's what it does. It brings it to life. It really opens it all up. You go to a football field when it's been raining, you can smell the grass, the earth, all those smells. People call it summer rain. That smell is what ice does to a cognac. So you don't need to, and it also rounds it out. So it makes it a much smoother drink. So people go, oh, it burns me up front and all that kind of stuff. A little bit. People do it with whiskey.
Yeah, I'll do it with heavily peated whiskey. I'll put a couple drops. I won't put an ice
soda?
cube. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do the same thing. We use Fever Tree soda, which is excellent, super fine bubbles, and it's really, really nice. So what we do is add that or add some ice to a VSOP, and it really rounds out the drink and makes it a lot more enjoyable. I love it. That's how I drink it now. So unless I go to an XO, and that way you just sort of sit on that one and you leave that, because that's kind of, you're spending $50 a nip, you want to just leave it, just drink that one.
So you got cognac cocktails as well.
Yeah, we do.
I don't imagine there'd be a lot of those.
We've got 30.
Yeah.
So there are a lot.
So are they ones that you've found, or ones that you've also created yourself?
Both. So our signature is called the Hank. That's my dad's name was Hendrik, and his shortened to Hank. Everyone knew him as Hank.
Yeah.
So the Hank, which is ironic because he didn't like cocktails. But we needed a signature, so we had to have a name for it. So we called it the Hank. And so that's cognac, Cointreau, orange, pineapple, and 8 mils of Fireball. Yeah. Just to give it a little bit of cinnamon, and it's garnished with pineapple. Everyone loves them. Like, that is our biggest selling drink.
Yeah, wow.
It's crazy. And the Fireball's in there just because I love that shit. Yeah. I love having shots of that. It makes me go mental. Good times.
Yeah, big time.
Have you got any beers on the menu?
Yeah, we do. And so that was a big thing. So for us, it was about looking at we are a place where you can come and just have a beer. We don't want to be overly complicated in the type of beers that we've got. So it was more about getting something that complemented what we do.
Yeah.
So we went through a bunch of craft, 1 billion of them, and James is more into beer than me. I can probably have 1 or 2 in a night, and then I'm on to wine or something heavier.
Yeah.
And so we went up and down the list, and he likes, a lot of those chewy, really big craft beers. Anyway, we settled on Bolter. A lot of it because it's just beautiful, and it's got that little smile on the logo, and it just makes you happy when you get a can of that. And so that's one of them. And then also Peroni, because there's no one, if you go, I've got Peroni on the list, no one goes, oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Everyone goes, oh, okay, that's cool. So we got that, and we've got Peroni Light, not a big seller.
No.
The light beer.
No taste.
But, I don't
Not
know.
enough alcohol.
That's it, mate.
I drink to forget, man. I want to drink.
Yeah. So yes, we do have beers, and that's we don't have a lot of room, so we can't have all of them. We can't be all things to everyone.
Yeah.
But we are enough to satisfy most people.
Well, it seems like you've carved out a really good niche. Your execution, it sounds like it's been one hell of a journey, but pretty flawless.
It's been interesting, mate.
And actually, you've carved out a really good niche here in Crow's Nest as well.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a massive journey with hurdle after hurdle after hurdle thrown in. I mean, COVID being the obvious, enormous one.
Yeah.
Which I mean, God, who like I actually posted, I think, I must be the only idiot opening a bar in the middle of COVID. But nevertheless, we're open and we've been really lucky with the locals around here. They've supported us. They love that there is something like this locally, and they've been really supportive, and that's what you need. I think, if you get on with the people and you're friendly and they want to come back, then you've got a business model.
Have you and James kind of we spoke earlier about businesses pausing and reflecting and working it out. Have you guys actually stopped and gone?
Not yet. I haven't had a day off in 5 weeks, mate. Yeah. So I feel like I'm dying.
Yeah.
I'd have to get better to die. Yeah. We haven't yet. I think we'll probably take stock in the coming weeks. We want to, we'll probably just take a day or 2 off and go, okay, cool, before the next big push into whether it be barrel or whatever we're doing. We need to kind of sit down and review. We always do it on the run, but it's not something that we've been able to. We just haven't had the time to do it. We've got businesses running. Yeah. One of them runs from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The other one goes from midday to midnight.
Yeah.
So
no time.
There's no time.
And you open 7 days here?
6 days, but one day that we're closed is Monday, so the other business is going in anyway.
Yeah, well, you don't have a break at all.
Not one. Yeah. So
that's
all right, mate. It's our choice.
Yeah.
That's not a complaint. We knew what we were getting into. And it's, we've always worked hard and long hours and that kind of stuff. And ebb and flow. And man, I would much prefer to be complaining about being busy than doing it tough like a lot of people are at the moment, which is not, you don't envy that position of anyone. I don't think that's nice.
Yeah, it's very true. All right.
Where can we get hold of you, mate? Have you got a website for Hendriks? Is there Instagram, Facebook, all of those?
We've got all those things.
I would expect, being an agency, that's all covered.
Pretty much. Hendriks.bar. It's Hendriks, not with a C. So Hendriks.bar is the website. Hendriks_Crow's Nest is the Instagram handle, and Hendriks Crow's Nest is Facebook.
Awesome. We'll include links to all of that. I fancy one of those. What are they called?
Jaffles?
No. I fancy a little cognac, actually.
Mate.
Oh, frappin'. You want a frappin' cognac?
I fancy a cognac.
I'll get on it, mate.
Thank you very much for
Thanks, Jacob.
Thank you for opening up this morning.
Connor.
It's been really good to hear your story.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.